all good news from yesterday. Everything went really well. The plan is to throw another bullpen on Friday.
Go to Bruce, third row.
Guaranteed first dumb question, and that is, will wind, the way the wind is blowing, impact any of your moves today, in particular, pitchers, while you look at them?
I think the answer is yes. I don't know about the pitchers. Will it affect a decision in the game today? I think probably yes. Like that's a yes. But where? I don't know where. I don't know if I could tell you exactly. This are conditions that we've seen a lot this year for sure. And there's, it looks like it's going to be tough to, the big part of the park certainly is going to be tough today.
Go 5 rows back in the middle, Sadev.
Craig, jumping on the weather bandwagon there.
Right up your alley here.
Obviously, in April, you guys did a really good job scoring runs in these conditions. Do you hope your team, or do you believe your team can pull upon that experience and use it to their advantage, the offense in particular?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we have scored runs in these conditions, no question. And there's been games where lots of runs have been scored in these conditions. So it's not a rule, it's not a guarantee, right? But it just makes, there's some balls that's going to knock them down. That's just the way it is. So you don't, I don't, as a hitter, it's still just, it's swing decisions still and get the right pitches to hit and maybe there's some effect in some certain counts or something like that. That's still the most important thing. You can't, you can think about things a little differently. You can't dramatically overhaul your hitting approach on a day like this, and that's important. That's important. But know the conditions, and that's what we've tried to stress all year. Embrace the conditions, know the conditions. That's what we tried to stress.
Jesse, up front on the left.
One more related to the wind blowing in, and Jameson in particular. He seems to be very good this year when these conditions have been here. So I know you were asked yesterday about letting maybe your starter go longer. Is it possible you view it almost as a regular season start, like when he gets into trouble instead of doing something in advance? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I know what you're asking. I think this is a win or go home game for us. So I think that changes the calculus absolutely. It's win or go home. We also have to, we got to win. We got to win 3 here, and we got to win 2 after today. So at some point, we're going to need, someone to give us some length in terms of getting out.
And any changes to your lineup other than maybe Michael Busch back?
So same lineup as game 2.
Okay.
Game 1. I'm sorry.
Craig will come third row on the right.
Hello. Does leaving Javier out of the roster is a decision you look back to?
Assad? Yes. Well, look, we our choice really, frankly, what we got down to was Assad or Ben Brown. We ended up choosing Ben Brown. Ben delivered a really good outing, so, from that perspective, no. And Javi's still under consideration, certainly for future rosters.
Go fourth row in the middle.
Craig, such a successful pitching year with the profile of your staff and so many good elite defenders. When the playoffs come, does the pitching profile change? Do you ever find yourself thinking you have guys that are more built for the regular season than the playoffs?
Yeah, look, good pitchers, that plays throughout the season. I think that's what you're going to need. We've had some. We haven't pitched well in 2 games. I wish I could tell you more than that. We haven't pitched well in a couple of games, and that's hurt us. I think maybe what you're asking is, do you want strikeouts? I love strikeouts. everybody loves every pitching coach and every pitching guy loves strikeouts. And you know, they're also hard to get. It's hard to strike out 30% of the guys that you face. Like those are pretty good numbers, right? And so I think it's always something you have your eye on, because it is the thing about pitchers that shows stuff and dominance. But you know, in the end, like you also got to get people out. And so there's kind of a, you know, a graph to that stuff, right? And we've had successful pitching this year, and guys that have got outs through a lot of sample, through some really big sample. They've had kind of 2 bad starts in a row here.
Megan, down in the front.
This might be kind of an obvious question, given it's an elimination game for you guys, but just given how the first innings have gone pitching-wise for you the last 2 games, just how important, from a momentum standpoint, vibe standpoint, getting a 0 from Tyone in the first inning? No,
I mean, I think that's a good question. Yeah, look, and there's only one answer that I can give too. Like, yes, 0 would really help. But yeah, look, I think a 0 would help for sure. I mean, we've put ourselves in, you know, a great spot, back to even in game 2. Put ourselves in a huge hole in game 1. You know, really played with the lead in one of these games in the playoffs so far. You know, game 3, really the only game we played with a lead with. You know, for more than half the game. So, you know, I think that's playing with a lead. Obviously, is going to make pitching decisions always a little different. And so that part of that is putting up a 0 in the first inning.
Bruce.
Pretty sure I know the answer, but I'll ask anyway. And that's any Newt Rockne or Vince Lombardi speeches to any of your players individually? I know collectively you probably wouldn't do anything like that. Just positive reinforcement on the day of.
Yeah, I mean, more just like conversation for sure. Whether you want to consider those that caliber of speech, it's up to you. But absolutely conversations. Yeah.
Start with Bruce in the third row.
Ian, because a lot of your teammates, and in particular you, are being pitched to so well during the playoffs here, do you allow yourself to think about other things that you can do to take away the manipulation of them just pitching to you?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is just trying to keep guys in the zone. I think trying to eliminate as much chase as you can, and force them to throw strikes to get you out. I think that's been a focus. I think on a day like today, if the wind's blown in, you know, there's a little bit more you can do on the hit and run bunt front. If the long ball's not in play at all, I think when you're chasing runs, you know, that gets a little bit harder. You know, the first 2 games chasing a little bit to try to catch up and put a spot on the board, so you're not playing as much small ball, and you're trying to get guys on base to pop them and put up a crooked number to get back in games. But yeah, I think today, like you saw in the San Diego series, there'll be a little bit more small ball, a little bit more of an effort to do that.
Maddie, second row.
And obviously you guys have a fair number of guys with playoff experience individually, but what does it do anything to have faced elimination as a group already once?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think guys that have experience in situations like this and have experience in playoff baseball is big. But as a group, I think you continue to build that experience. So, you know, we got the experience of playing an elimination game. We got the experience of getting through that as a group. And so I think that's, you know, when you coming back home down 0-2, you know, the only thought can be win today, figure out tomorrow. And so I think as a group, that's the mentality. Let's get a win today. Let's get one on the board here at home, and then figure out tomorrow.
A few more for Ian. Megan, we got one. Stay on the right side, third row, and then we'll go to Megan.
Oh, okay. How's the mood in the clubhouse? How you think the young players are taking this atmosphere now that you guys have to win 3 games in a row?
Yeah, I think excited to be back at home, excited to be back in front of our fan base and experience, this crowd again. But I think we have a group that's done a really good job of taking it day by day and just walking in this morning, everyone's excited to play baseball at Wrigley Field and take advantage of today.
Just with how the first innings have gone the last 2 games, just how big does the first inning feel just momentum-wise, and especially in front of a home crowd that might be feeling a little anxious?
Yeah, I think, scoring first is big. We've been able to do it in the first 2 games and it hasn't worked out, but scoring first it's a big thing, and whether it happens in the first inning or not. And so, top of our lineup has done a great job, whether it was Bushy or guys getting on base and then say a pop on it. They've done a great job of winning that first inning in the top. For us now, it's going to be, can JMO go out in 1, 2, 3 and get us back in here? To ease that, I think, a little bit. And, JMO was fantastic against the Padres. He's been great for us, and I have a lot of confidence that he's going to have a great day today.
Jay, 4th row in the middle.
You kind of segue nicely into my question. What is it like to face this type of situation with someone like Jamison Taillon on the mound with his experience level and background and everything?
Yeah, I think, first and foremost, his experience and the different places he's been, the different atmospheres he's pitched in. But I think you saw just in that elimination game against San Diego what he's capable of. His ability to move the ball around, his ability to throw strikes, his ability to control a game and an atmosphere, and I have all the confidence in the world in him. Have for a long time. He's been fun to watch, and the moment doesn't get too big for him.
Bruce.
Ian, the Cubs have won during the regular season 3 games in a row, 15 times more than any team in the National League. Is there some positivity you take out of numbers? I know you're pretty, involved in looking at things like that.
Yeah, I think we've done it during the regular season. And one of the other things we've been good at is winning here and winning at home. And I think, it gives you a little bit of peace or a little bit of confidence that, you get 2 games at home to get this thing even. Anything can happen in a game 5, and that's the exciting thing about playoff baseball. You got nothing to lose, and when your backs are against the wall, that's sometimes when the guys play their best.
4th row in the middle.
Ian, what would you rather face? A starting pitcher getting you for the 2nd or 3rd time when they got 4 or 5 pitches, maybe they've been setting you up, or a fresh reliever with only 2 pitches at full strength? What's more difficult for you?
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about the playoffs, and especially in a 3 or 5 game set, is it's different from regular season baseball in the sense that you're going to see the starter probably 3 times. You have, just over the course of your career, you're going to have more at-bats against those guys and more experiences of how they're going to try to get you out. We're in a situation now where you're facing a lot of guys just one time. You're facing a lot of guys kind of throwing their best stuff, and you're facing some starters out of the pen in situations where you might not have seen them in that sense before, or you might have seen them a lot less. And so I think that's a little bit different in this setup, and so adjusting to that as a hitter. And the other part of that is there's times when you can get a little passive, especially when you're trailing, because you don't want to be chasing and you don't want to be giving that guy an advantage. You want to force them to throw strikes to get you out. And so getting a little bit passive and letting guys get ahead is a little bit different than what you would do in a regular season game where, hey, I'm looking for that one pitch and I'm going to let it eat, as opposed to I don't want to put this inning away too quick. I want to let them try to make a mistake. So I think that's a little bit different in this format or in how pitching staffs have been used in the playoffs.